Welcome to One Brothas Mind, and I am KD Smooth. Today we will question and challenge popular information and views from a B1 perspective, while we expose the real facts you need. We do this to strengthen your logical, critical, and discerning thinking skills. Because in today's world, hard choices are mandatory and they come with consequences. So you need all the information. And at One Brother's Mind, we do this from a B1 Yeshua the Christ follower's perspective. Now, if you're not ready, you better get ready with Katie Smooth at One Brother's Mind. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Katie Smooth back at you once again with another report. This report also, ladies and gentlemen, will be a short report. I wanted to do a follow-up report on the formula shortage report that I did a couple of days ago. I wanted to provide a bit more information on some of the points that I made in that report. So this is a part two of the formula shortage issue. And specifically, I wanted to focus today briefly on the causes of the shortage and the so-called fix options that are being implemented. Real quick, it's another reason why I was kind of laughing through that whole first report the other day, a couple of days ago, because I already knew this stuff, and after making that report, it really set on me that I needed to provide more of the information that I knew already, because many of you family may not already be aware of these things. And once I provide some of this information, the reason why I was laughing about the situation and how ridiculous it is, and how ridiculous that doctor is, and the whole thing is how ridiculous that is. It's just, man, come on. So, okay. Before we dive in, remember, family, to please like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to grow this channel because we're trying to provide you with the information and facts you need. All right, here we go. A couple of general concepts that I need you, family, to absorb. Okay. One, most of the supply shortages and the whatever other kind of shortages that come about, they are caused by, they're man-made. Okay. Be clear, they are man-made. Some of them are caused by what I call here at One Brother's Mind, modern day slave masters. Okay. And other causes, another cause is they're caused by monopolies. Okay. But either way, they're man-made. To just give you a bit more information on what I mean by those terms, the modern day slave masters. I mean, if you're maybe 35 or older, family, y'all can recall a lot of the government's policies and things and laws that were implemented that opened the door for corporations and companies and businesses to move so-called move business operations, or most likely manufacturing part of the business operations, overseas. Things like NAFTA, CAFTA, things of that nature. Y'all remember those things? That literally, and I said it then, those policies, those new laws, those were modern day slavery. Okay? Because in a real short framework, those laws allowed major corporations and companies to move, like I said, their manufacturing wings, move them out of the United States where they had to pay, competitive wages to U.S. citizens, okay? And they were able to move them overseas, somewhere international, to where the economies in many overseas markets like China, India, Mexico, things of that nature, their economies had not and were not anywhere near competitive with our economies. So the pay wage in those economies were basically pennies compared to the pay wage for U.S. citizens. And so what it did, it gave those corporations the opportunity to move their manufacturing, say, over to some part of China. And instead of paying $15, $20, $25, $30 an hour here in the U.S. for workers, the companies were able to pay 30, 50 cents, a dollar per hour to the workers over in different parts of China or India or Mexico. Okay? Well, that's an insane cost savings for the company, right? And as far as business and from the company's perspective, absolutely, that's the cost savings. Okay, and that's how they presented it. They didn't speak on it really loudly because they didn't really want people to understand what they were doing. But whatever it is that you are, as a company, you're hiring human beings to do. If you paying them pennies on a dollar to do it, you're literally paying slave wages, or you're hiring slaves. Because in reality, if those corporations move their manufacturing plants overseas to these other countries, they should have been paying similar wages. If they're paying $20 an hour over here, they should have at least been paying $10 an hour over in China. But again, those economies were not balanced or anywhere near equal to the U.S. economy. So their wage structure and settings over there were drastically lower than U.S. wage structure. Okay? So, for most of the people over there in these parts of China, India, and Mexico and other places, Africa, whatever, they were used to making 30 to 50 cents, some 75 cents a day, some less than $1 a day, right? So when this new company comes in, this manufacturing company, and they offer jobs paying 2 times or a little more than 2 times more than what their normal wage is to those people, that's a blessing. They're like, absolutely yes. I'm doubling my income. Me and my family are going to do well, even though we're only making $1.50 an hour or whatever it was. Do you see? They were taking advantage. They literally took advantage of all these people. And they still do it to this day, y'all. But that's modern day slavery. All that is slave master corporations hiring people at absolute slave wages to increase their profits. That's all it is. It's modern day slavery. Again, I keep telling people, slavery never ended. It went global. And that's all it did. It just went global. Okay? Now, the second part of how these shortages and supply chain shortages, no matter what it is, are man-made is by monopolies. Now, most of you have an understanding, a general understanding of monopoly, that it's illegal in the U.S. for a company to have a monopoly. That's still on the books. That's still law. But the easy workaround that corporations and companies figured out years ago, decades ago, okay, it's illegal for one company to have a monopoly, but what if we do this where there's two, maybe three companies, and unofficially off the record, the two or three companies produce whatever service or product it is, and we all basically unofficially off the record charge the same price. Do you see that? It doesn't matter if it's 2, 3, or a small number of companies that are producing the same product. If they're charging the same price, that still is a monopoly because they're not actually competing against each other. They are purposely not competing against each other in regards to price. Okay? There's a lot of unspoken stuff that's going on there. Okay? In other words, if you, me, and the other person, another one of y'all decide to open up a hamburger place, yours is McDonald's, mine is Burger King, and the other one is whatever, White Castle's, whatever. And we all charge $8 for our hamburgers. Just because we all have different names doesn't mean that there's still not a monopoly, because the hamburgers to the customers all still cost $8. Whereas competition is supposed to say, well, if McDonald's hamburgers are $8, we're going to charge $7.50 for our hamburgers. And then White Castle say, well, if Burger King hamburgers are $7.50, we'll sell ours for $7. The competition is supposed to drive prices down. But if they all, with unwritten agreements and a unwritten plan, they don't talk about it publicly, they just do it. If they all charge the same price, it doesn't matter whether it's a one company monopoly or a 5 company monopoly. It's still a monopoly because there's no real competition. That's my point. So again, multiple companies can still have a monopoly. Now, the reason why I say that is I want to give you guys a brief example of this, and this with our current baby formula shortage here. Okay? All right. What you have to understand, and again, family, I'm just here to give you just enough information to point you in the right direction to do your research for those that don't know. But basically, we basically have 3 main baby formula producing companies in the U.S. Okay? The Abbott Nutrition Company is the largest. Okay? Now, with those companies, not only with it only being 3, and that basically creating a monopoly, like I just described, but the government WIC program, the WIC program that everybody's familiar with, that's a government program. It gave monopolies to those 3 baby formula producing companies. Okay? It gave them special privileges, and it also, through the WIC program, it blocked and prevented any other companies from getting into the baby formula producing or product market. So there's 3 main companies, and if I decided to open my own baby formula, I got my own formula, and I decided I wanted to get into the national market, the WIC program has restrictions to where they won't let my company be the 4th company or come in and participate in the market, be a competitor. They block me. So you can't, nobody else can get a additional baby formula producing company going or off the ground good nationally in the U.S. because of the restrictions and blocks that the government WIC program has in place. It's basically insurance to the primary 3 companies that we already have. Abbott Nutrition being the largest. Okay, it's like it in a sense, it's almost like basically you getting, those companies have government contracts. They don't call them that, but they're secluded government contracts in case nobody else, no big contracts is basically what they are. But the point is there's no competition. So these three companies can produce. And before I go forward, if you do enough digging, a lot of times in these type of situations, a lot of times you'll find out there may be three different companies' names, but in reality, all the money funnels back to one destination. Because they know how to set up the, multiple companies. And many of y'all already know that. A lot of our products today, they got a bunch of different names, but there's only less than a handful of actual companies that are producing all of these different products, and they're making all the money from them. Okay? And in theory, that's okay, but here is the problem, the primary problem with that. If you have one or just a couple of companies producing a product for the entire country, if and when that company has a problem with this product of some kind, the whole country's product is jacked up, or the majority of it is. You get that? Because you're basically putting all your eggs in one basket in that situation. Now, they're doing this because it's profitable to those owners of those companies. It's basically greed, y'all, is what I'm describing. Again, the United States system is supposed to be set up, the United States market is supposed to be set up to encourage competition, because real competition, keeps prices down, keeps prices and wages competitive. Okay? All right. So, in addition to the government WIC program preventing any other competitors from coming into the formula market, and there's only three companies, the government also put on major expensive tariffs, import tariffs, because there's other baby formula producing companies around the world, but they can't sell their products here in the U.S. because the government just snapped their finger and put crazy amounts of basically import taxes, which is pretty much what tariffs are, import taxes on their products. So you can have a can of U.S. baby formula and a can of baby formula for some other country, okay? Same size and everything. They both want to sell the cans of formula, both cans, for say $10 a piece, right? But because of the government tariffs, the can of formula from the international country, the government charges them an extra $5 or $10 in taxes to ship and bring and sell their formula in the U.S. So then that company has to add that extra tariff price onto the price of their formula. So basically it makes their formula $20 a can compared to the U.S. formula can that's $10. So what can you gonna buy? Everybody gonna buy the $10 can. Okay? So international companies don't even try. You see how they do that? Again, the government, is what I'm explaining to y'all, has created this monopoly in the baby formula market here in the U.S. And again, if you put all your eggs in one basket, if and when that company or those couple of companies have a problem, most of the country now has a problem. Now you understand how I was laughing more about what was going on in the previous report. I already knew all this, but again, I wanted to share this with those of y'all that didn't understand this, that didn't know this information, so y'all can understand what's going on. This is not because of the war or supply chain shortages. They're lying to y'all on mainstream media. They're blaming this, it's just supply chain shortages. Yeah, that's what it is. No, it is way more. And this goes for pretty much any and every product that there's a problem or a shortage with in the U.S. right now. Okay, for the most part. All right. So now, with that being said, on your screen, I kind of touched on in the previous formula broadcast that there was a plant. It was an Abbott plant. I didn't even list the name of the plant, the manufacturer, that had a contamination problem that the government actually shut the plant down completely. It was one plant. It wasn't the whole company. They had other plants, but there's only so many plants in the U.S. that are producing baby formula. Okay, and if you shut one down, you're stifling the supply, right? So I'm gonna just provide you guys with some brief information on why that plant was shut down. Okay. First off, what happened was every so often, as y'all know, it's similar to like the Board of Health. The government has health inspectors as well, and they go out and perform routine inspections on food producers and things of that nature, right? And it's pretty much every product that's being produced at some point in time is inspected. The companies have to meet certain regulations, safety regulations, things of that nature, yada, 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 yada. Okay. Well, the government inspectors went to this particular Abbott plant, right? And did an inspection and passed the plant, gave them a passing grade. It was like, here, y'all, all right, y'all doing a good job. Go ahead. Keep on going. And left, right? Then an employee at this Abbott plant that got shut down, after the government inspectors left, a whistleblower employee blew the whistle on the contamination problems at this Abbott plant. All right. Now you say, well, did the government inspectors come back or did they do anything? No, not really. It wasn't until after several babies got sick from the formula from this Abbott plant, and actually 4 babies got sick and 2 babies died. Then all of a sudden, the government inspectors went back to this Abbott plant to do another inspection. Okay. Basically what I'm describing to y'all, it only happened about 6 months ago. Okay. If you look at this article from CNN Health that's on your screen, the date is March 24, 2022. And if you read into the article, this whole problem at this one Abbott plant happened about 6 months ago. Okay. So here's what happened in real brief description. The babies that got sick and died were found to have been infected with a particular bacteria. Okay, I haven't found the name of that specific bacteria, but that's one specific bacteria that they got sick with, and 2 of them died. When the government inspectors went back into the plant after these deaths and after the whistleblower had blew the whistle, The government inspectors now miraculously found a second type of bacteria on surfaces and in other places within the plant. And the second bacteria was called Chronobacter. It's in this article that's on your screen. Go to CNN Health and Google or search on CNN or just CNN in general, like FDA formula or FDA infant, and you're going to find this article. Okay? So they didn't find the bacteria that the babies got sick with, but they found a second bacteria. And then upon finding that second bacteria, they shut the plant down. Okay? Now, you say, well, the company and everybody, they put out, we're not really responsible for these babies being sick because they got sick with something else. So that bacteria wasn't found in our plant, so we pretty much ain't responsible for it. Wink, wink. That's what they kind of pushed. But the reality is there was 2 bacteria in total, at least, let's say that, found. One that was found in the plant enough to shut the plant down. And then a second was found where babies actually got sick, like I said, and 2 died from their baby formula. But they reported it as there was no direct link. So there you go, y'all. So that's basically what happened. And again, this happened approximately 6 months ago. Okay. So now this is the same plant that I mentioned in the previous baby formula shortage report that I did 3 days ago. This is the same plant that the government now, because of the drastic shortage, has given approval for that plant to rush and open back up and restart production because we're so short of baby formula. The same contaminated plant. Y'all just open back up. This spray some spray somewhere, and wipe it down, and then open back up. Come on, we need formula. Again, so now y'all can really understand more of why I was laughing so hard. The doctors, the pediatricians, they know this stuff. But yet, they get on mainstream reports and news and broadcasts talking about keep giving you the best food for your baby is artificial baby formula. Are you serious, man? That's why I was laughing so hard, because I understood this, but I was like, man, I need to go and let everybody know, because maybe there's some people that don't know. The doctors in them know exactly what I just told you. They know how the industry is set up here in the U.S. They know about the monopoly. They know if there's some kind of contamination or whatever, it's going to cause a major problem. They know all this stuff. And they know, depending on the bacteria that are found, babies are dying. And that's just these 2 babies. That's not the only U.S. baby formula problem. There's, from my understanding, according to reports, there's current lawsuits that are in the courts right now over other problems that baby formulas, U.S. baby formulas, have caused infants, whether it be deaths or just severe illnesses, what have you. You moms, fathers, y'all better do your research. Okay? So, this is why I was laughing so hard. This whole shortage is man-made. family, and it's man-made because of monopolies and what basically the government has made this problem. Because they're doing everything they can to help some of their friends, some of their relatives get crazy rich by basically creating unofficial monopolies for them. So nobody can get in that market and compete with them, create a better product and sell it cheaper, things of that nature. Yeah. Okay. So there you go, family. That's, one of the primary causes of the current shortage. It's not the war in Ukraine. It's not, the supply shortages caused by the war in Ukraine. There's the issues with the labor market, all the workers that have left. It's hard for these companies to find workers. There's, whether it's as far as in transport for truck drivers, and all, the labor shortage, and all of these areas contribute to this shortage. But the primary shortage is caused by what I just described to you guys. Okay? So, now, the same people that caused the shortage, the government, and these two or three monopoly companies, Abbott Nutrition being one of them, through the WIC program, okay? These are the same individuals that are so-called creating and providing the fix or solutions for this problem. Okay, so let's quickly look at the solution that they are gonna buy. Your president you voted for, and it wouldn't be much different if y'all voted if Trump was in there. So don't miss me with all that. Y'all, man, please. Anyway, I keep trying to tell y'all, family, it don't matter. Republican, Democrat, it don't matter. They're all white supremacists. They all keep white supremacy going. They all keep their friends' pockets greased with these monopolies and special government contracts, and make laws to basically keep the corporations making the money and in power. And it screws you, me, no matter what our race is, so-called race is, no matter what color we are, it screws the regular person and families, okay? Y'all better wake up. So, okay, let's quickly look at one of the solutions to this problem. So now, the shortages that the government caused through greed, with monopoly, greedy U.S. corporations, their solution is, one, reopen that contaminated Abbott plant in an emergency fashion and get them to reproducing formula. Two, they actually used actually on the first one, they used the government's military or emergency powers to force that plant to reopen. Y'all do your research. All right, it's another option. They literally have contacted other countries. Let me say this slowly. The U.S. has contacted other countries and begged and bought baby formula to be shipped in an emergency fashion, flown in, shipped in, and trucked in to the U.S. to distribute out throughout the U.S. to try to help relieve the shortage levels. Okay, let me say that again. The U.S. has begged other countries to help us with our baby formula shortage. Okay, for those couple people that ain't really understanding what I'm saying, throughout most modern history, the U.S., we're the country that helps other countries with their problems, with their shortage. not them helping us. We help third world countries with shortages of food and resources and supply. But the U.S. is being ran so well that now other countries are helping the U.S. with our shortages like we are a third world country now. And the reality, family, is for a large portion of the U.S. population and in many different states and cities throughout the U.S., we are a third world country. Y'all better wake up. We live in, many people in the U.S., I would argue most people in the U.S. live in third world conditions, poverty, lack of resources, lack of opportunities, etc., etc., etc. So now in this report, again, this is on CNN website. The report came on May 22nd, as you can see on your screen, from CNN Politics. Baby formula arrives in Naptown, my town, Indianapolis, from Germany. They flew it into Indy on planes, on military planes, to help with the need. Now, this particular formula that was flown in, it was an actual special mixture of formula, to my understanding from the article. It's for babies that can't tolerate the regular baby formula options. Okay? So they basically had that come in first, because those babies have even less, those moms, those babies have even less options when it comes to food, basically. So they flew that in first, but don't get it twisted. They got baby formula coming in and flying in over the next couple of weeks from a bunch of different countries, trying to bring it in. Why? Because we in the U.S. cannot manufacture it fast enough and distribute it. I can't even talk today. Distribute it fast enough to refill the shelves all back up. It's going to take some time. It's going to take weeks, if not a few months, to try to catch the shortages back up. So to help try to speed that process, they're literally flying formula in on military planes from other countries because it's so bad out there. But at the same time, you got doctors on mainstream media, and like I said in the report from yesterday, and I'll link that at the end of this video. You'll see it. You'll be able to click and watch it. But they got doctors, and like I said, what pissed me off about that, it was a black doctor on a mainstream report talking about baby formula is your only, artificial baby formula is your only or best option to feed your baby. I'm going to say that again real slow. Artificial baby formula is your baby's best food option. That's insane. That's satanic. A baby's best food option is his or her mother's breast milk. And then after that, all other options are options, including artificial baby formula. But that's not the best of the remaining options. That's just another option. Come on, y'all. So, again, family, please like, share, and subscribe. Just wanted to do another really quick report just to update y'all and explain to y'all why I was laughing so hard. It's hilarious, the lies that the government and mainstream media is telling, and not the things that they are omitting and not explaining to y'all. They cause this problem, and then we still have to, for the most part, as a country, depend on the people that cause the problem to try to fix the problem. And trust me, all of their solutions to the problem all of their recommended solutions just keep you putting more money in their pockets. And that's the problem. Okay? That's why that black doctor and many other mainstream doctors and pediatricians are saying, don't use old school baby formula recipes. When that is the most satanic thing to say, because you can use those. I agree with them. They need to be well balanced. Okay? Those old school, you find one, confirm it with multiple grandmothers, y'all, like I said in the previous report I did. But once you confirm that, if you're going to decide to use an old school baby formula, once you confirm its mixture measurements with multiple grandmothers and, multiple sources, and you get to the point where you feel comfortable with that, move forward. But they don't want you to do that, because they want you to buy their artificial baby formula. Okay? Like I said, which has lawsuits against it, has at least one Abbott plant, been shut down due to contamination, bacteria, babies severely sick, 2 dying, other contamination found in the plant, enough to where the government shut it down. Okay, y'all. Again, real short report. Just wanted to do a brief follow-up and show you guys what's actually happening. And I'm not going to go back through all of the things that I recommended as options in the first video I did here at One Brothas Mind on the baby formula. Please click at the end of this video or go to the One Brothas Mind channel. You'll see it right there. It's the same picture, just different wording. Click on that. Check that out to get some more options and things of that nature. Explore and research your other options. But moms, you have to do your research. Don't take my word for it. Don't take no satanic doctor or pediatrician's word for it. Don't take the satanic government's word on it. Do your own research and then make the decision that you feel, you and the father feel is best for your baby. Okay, the safest, best decision. Okay, family? That's it. Real quick, just drop some more info. Explain why it was so funny to me. Like I said, I knew all this stuff already. And these factors apply to most of the current so-called shortages today. It's because of modern day slavery and monopolies, unofficial monopolies that have been set up by the U.S. government. If they weren't set up, they were allowed. Okay, family? So there you go. I could go into some other stuff, but I'm not at this time. So let me know what y'all think. Let's chop it up in the comments on this. But do your research. Showed you 2 articles on your screen. Pull those up. Read those. Now, understand it's CNN, it's mainstream. They're going to try to hide what I've explained to you. So a lot of places in these articles, you're going to have to read it and read some of the information and kind of use your discernment and read between the lines of what they're really saying. Because they ain't going to just come out and tell you what it is like I just explained it. But in full, they're going to hint to some things, but quickly try to divert you. But that's how mainstream works. So again, let's chop it up in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe to One Brothas Mind. And we'll see you in the comments. This concludes this broadcast for One Brothas Mind. We thank you for joining us. And as a part of the new Black media, B1 choices are mandatory and being on code is required. But never fear. Yeshua the Christ is with you always. Shalom.